Hey everybody, welcome back. One Night Sniper here, and welcome to another riveting episode of Mass Effect Andromeda Codex. Alright, so we've got... Journey so far is still undone. We added to the Andromeda initiative, so let's check that one out. Okay, Nexus Uprising. Alright, despite Director Tan's reluctance to share them, the Nexus retains records of the so-called Nexus Uprising in the early months of the station's arrival. The damage caused by the Scourge killed members of the senior leadership. New individuals had to step in to fill those roles. However, with hydroponics damaged and no habitable planets available, supplies were stretched to crisis point. Dissent turned to open rebellion against this new leadership. With the Nexus threatened, Krogan work crews were asked to provide military support against the rebels, now led by Head of Security Sloane Kelly, in return for political representation. The Krogan were ultimately successful, and the rebels were exiled from the Nexus. These exiles remained a concern for the Nexus leadership to this day. The majority of Krogan personnel also left the Nexus soon afterwards. Director Tan has declined to provide details or fill in gaps in the official record. Okay, Jean Garson. We already covered all that. Okay, here we go. We added on a paragraph. Unfortunately, she would never live to see her dream realized. She died aboard the Nexus when it sustained severe damage from the Scourge upon first arriving in the Helios cluster. Okay, I doubt this. I have doubts about this, but we'll see what happens. Okay, the Nexus. We added a lot to the Nexus. So this is going to be files on the individuals. Tyrion Kandros. In his screening interviews, Tyrion Kandros states he is named after an ancestor who captured a dreadnought in the Krogan rebellions, and he was expected to live up to the name. After beginning boot camp at the traditional age of 15, Kandros rose through the ranks and was assigned to Sagiris 8, one of the hierarchy's counterterrorism divisions. Persistent to rumors on the Nexus claim that Kandros was sent to investigate the Andromeda initiative when the hierarchy became suspicious about its activity. Kandros refuses to comment on former operations, citing family pressures as the reason he later joined the initiative. Alright, so he's got a little bit of a history here. During the early days of the Nexus arrival, Kandros left the station to act as protection detail for a prospecting team and was captured by the Ket. He managed to lead several other captives in an escape and returned to the Nexus, eventually founding a volunteer militia to defend the station. Alright, so this guy's got some skills. Okay, Nexus Andromeda Initiative Director Tan. Alright, Director Jaren Tan is a replacement leader for those who died in the Scourge disaster. Personnel records indicate he was the Nexus Deputy Director for Revenue Management when the Arks departed the Milky Way in 2185. However, upon arrival in the Helios cluster, the disastrous encounter with the Scourge led to substantial loss of life among the senior leadership. The line of succession eventually fell to Tan as the next in line for overall director, much to the apparent consternation of certain Nexus personnel. Born on Surkesh, Tan's application to the initiative lists his previous work experience as senior consultant, advanced matrix-based accounting, with hobbies in model shipbuilding and travel someday, when queried if he had any prejudices that would affect his ability to serve the initiative, his answer was blank. However, careful data forensics reveals his original reply was, "Wait, you're letting Krogan come along?" Today, Director Tan has official oversight of initiative operations and strategy, and effective supervision of Pathfinder team. Okay, the leadership. This little triumvirate we got. Actually, I guess there's 4 of them. Okay, as the base of operations for the Andromeda initiative, the Nexus leadership was always intended to be split between the initiative proper, station operations, and colonial administration. Jean Garson planned to retain an honorary role, electing the Asari matriarch Nuara as the initiative director. Unfortunately, both Garson and Matriarch Nuara are listed as deceased, along with many of Nuara's senior staff. The current director of the initiative, Jaren Tan, was 8th in line of succession. Today, Director Tan remains officially in charge of initiative operations and Pathfinder teams. Foster Addison retains her post as Director of Colonial Affairs, managing colonist and outpost deployment. The Nexus itself is administered by Superintendent Nakmor Kesh, who also oversees construction efforts. In the wake of the Ket attacks, Tyrion Kandros emerged as a leader of a de facto volunteer militia that has taken over station security. Though technically a civilian, Kandros is counted amongst the Nexus leadership. Okay, Nakmor Kesh. Overseer of the Nexus initial design and construction phase in the Milky Way, Nakmor Kesh is currently superintendent of the station. She has oversight of the Nexus proper, maintaining systems, integrating any returning arc, and continuing construction effort. She is also considered a senior figure in Clan Nakmor, despite the departure of the majority of the Krogan from the Nexus. Kesh herself describes her role as Fixer-in-Chief. Records from the Nexus Uprising show Kesh played a key role in keeping the station operational during the crisis. Her strong management and knowledge of the station makes her an irreplaceable member of the Nexus leadership. Though minutes of official meetings suggest she and Director Jaren Tan are often at odds, Kesh's presence ensures the Krogan still have a powerful voice on the Nexus. Okay, let's find out about Foster Addison. She doesn't really like us that much. Previous to the initiative, Foster Addison was the Chief Operations Officer for our provincial capital. She stated in her screening interviews that she preferred the position because it was the highest non-elected municipal office. It carried responsibility without requiring a public face. Yeah, also without requiring you to do what the people want. Keep that one in mind. Foster was asked to head colonial affairs early during initiative training. She accepted after being assured that it was temporary. After arrival, Outpost would appoint a council and she would be obscure on a new world. In the meantime, she would remain senior advisor to Jean Garson. Unfortunately, Garson died in the Nexus initial Scourge impact to be replaced by Director Tan. During the rebuilding, Colonial Director Addison had no colonial affairs to direct. That limited the influence she wielded and increased the scrutiny demanded. She has expressed frustration at the open-ended nature of her position and the ongoing need for statements about the status or lack of outposts. Though she remains eminently capable, it appears to be exactly the job she didn't want. Okay, let's check out the ARC species. Asari. Archaeological evidence shows that abundant Thessian resources and their natural tendency to cooperate helped ancient Asari develop city building, writing, and agricultural unusually early. The tone of research papers suggests this is a point of pride for Asari scholars. After studying a number of Prothean ruins and developing their space program, Asari astronauts found their way to the Citadel, the most advanced station in the Milky Way, deserted since the Prothean extinction. Later, when Solarian explorers reached the station, the Asari proposed a joint government, eventually known as the Citadel Council. The Asari have played a fundamental role in galactic politics ever since. Asari commandos served with distinction in the Rachni Wars, despite heavy losses. And Krogan occupation of the Asari colony Lucia was the tipping point for the Krogan rebellion. In recent years, the Asari have devoted themselves to diplomatic service, including helping to negotiate the 2157 Human-Turian ceasefire. Okay, Asari themselves. Renowned for their long lifespan, biotic ability, and diplomatic nature, the Asari were one of the most influential species in the Milky Way. Asari explorers were the first to discover the immense Citadel Station, and it was the Asari who first proposed the creation of the Citadel Council. Asari are monogendered. Their unique physiology allows them to reproduce with any species via a form of parthenogenesis, passing on genetic traits to their daughter. Almost all Asari are biotic, and the control over their nervous system allows them to hone their powers to heights few other species can match. An Asari can live for 1,000 years, passing through life stages referred to as maiden, matron, and matriarch. Asari matriarchs are ancient and respected, often holding immense cultural and economic power, though no such framework exists in the Helios cluster. Okay. Asari culture and society. The Asari come from Thessia, whose vast Element Zero deposits form the basis of the most powerful economy in the Milky Way. Living in small city-states, the natural Asari tendency to cooperate led to the loose conglomerate known as the Asari Republic. Government operates as an e-democracy. Policy discussions take place over the extranet, and are open to all. Decisions are made by consensus or with the advice of politically minded matriarchs. The Asari military is relatively small and informal, but no less lethal. Small units of volunteer Asari commandos, also known as huntresses, handle peacekeeping operations in Asari space and were among the first Council Spectres. Their 1,000-year lifespan gives most Asari a long view of events. Investments, social programs, and environmental policies trend toward long-term rather than short-term reward. Their approach drew many Asari to the Andromeda Initiative, undaunted by the centuries-long journey. Yeah, because by the time they get here, some people they know would actually still be alive. Not that that really matters, because you're 600 years away, but... Okay, the biology. Though they appear feminine to many species, Asari are a monogendered species. During reproduction, they provide 2 sets of genes to their daughters in the form of parthenogenesis, with the second set modified by contact with a partner. During Asari melding, an Asari attunes her nervous system to her partner, giving and receiving electrical impulses through the skin until the two briefly become one unified nervous system. This fine control over their nervous system contributes to the Asari talent for Biotic. Few species can train the level of control that most Asari have by nature. Since joining the Citadel, Asari prefer to mate outside their own species, claiming that this fosters development and understanding. It also produces incidences of Yakshi, pure-blooded Asari who suffer a dangerous genetic disorder. If Asari are compatible with life in Andromeda, they will prove several theories about the fundamental building blocks of life. I'm not really sure what those theories are exactly. Humans. The Systems Alliance is a supranational government that spearheads human space exploration and settlement in the Milky Way. The Alliance is responsible for the governance and defense of extrasolar colonies and stations, and officially represents humanity on the Citadel Council. The Alliance was founded out of necessity, as no single nation could fund and manage the rapid expansion of humanity from Sol. Sol being the cluster, I think, that makes up our solar system. Our local thing of planets and everything. The discovery of Prothean ruins on Mars had proven that alien contact was inevitable, earning international support for the Alliance that solidified after Alliance forces liberated Shanxi in the First Contact War. Archived extranet articles and Gene Garson staff bulletins revealed tensions between the Alliance and the Andromeda Initiative. Construction of dreadnought-sized ships and persistent rumors of AI development, which could have damaged humanity's standing on the Citadel, led to the Alliance demanding to oversee the Initiative's labs and shipyard. Negotiations continued until the day of the Initiative's departure. Okay, so they got out of there before the Alliance could do much. Okay, N7. The most respected Systems Alliance officer training is awarded through Interplanetary Combatives Training ICT at the Via Militar in Rio de Janeiro. Candidates at the Via are initially given 20-hour training missions to lead teams through hostile terrain on little food or sleep. Trainees who do well are awarded an internal designation of N1 and are invited to return. Subsequent courses, N2 through N6, are often held off-planet and include instruction in zero-G combat, military freefall, parachuting, jetpack flight, combat diving, combat instruction, linguistics, and frontline trauma care for human and alien biology. The highest grade of training, in 6, provides actual combat experience in conflict zones throughout the galaxy. If the trainee survives these scenarios in admirable and effective fashion, he or she finally receives a coveted N7 designation. N7 is the only ICT designation that may be worn on field or dress uniform. Oh, okay, so if you're in N6, you don't wear it. Interesting. I wonder what the reason is behind that. Okay, the Krogans. Krogan culture was irrevocably changed by the Genophage. A society built on clan pride, conquest, and enduring any challenge could not survive the prospect of a quiet extinction. In the Milky Way, the Krogan are a scattered and fatalistic people. Believing the Genophage will never be cured, many subscribe to the idea of kill, pillage, and be selfish, for tomorrow we die. If Krogan who don't become wandering mercenaries often live within clans with histories that stretch back thousands of years. Others organize under the banner of a single warlord or into a clan of like-minded warriors. The history and traditions of a Krogan clan are maintained by respected shamans who prove their worth through grueling and secretive initiation. Female Krogan capable of producing offspring are valuable commodities. Most females live in separate camps where they raise children until they are old enough to face Tuchanka's dangers, and Tuchanka being their homeworld. Okay, Krogan biology. Krogan are exceptionally hardy, having evolved in a crucible of lethal conditions and monstrous predators. 240-degree vision, normally a feature of prey animals, gives Krogan a broad awareness of their environment and approaching enemies. Their tough hides can withstand stabbings and gunfire, and multiple redundant organs allow them to survive internal injuries. An electroconductive secondary circulatory system, rather than a central nervous system, makes Krogan almost impossible to paralyze, while the hump on their back stores valuable water and fat. Interesting. The extremely high birth rate of Krogans, a response to Tuchanka's harsh environments, once saw them overrun gentler worlds within a few decades. The Genophage has reduced live births to a relative handful. Krogan physiology is also highly resistant to radioactive or toxic environments. This allows them to live comfortably on planets hostile to other life. Initiative scientists have studied Krogan cellular generation while developing first-in colonist radiation treatment. Okay, Krogan history. A degree in Krogan history was apparently once a joke in academic circles, but excavations on Tuchanka show that ancient Krogan had a thriving and impressive civilization. Unfortunately, their technological advances ran afoul of Krogan aggressive instinct. Once the Krogan entered the atomic age, they didn't hesitate to deploy nuclear weapons on Tuchanka, devastating the surface and reducing their people to scattered, warring bands. The Solarians technologically and culturally uplifted the Krogan in return for their service against the Rachni, who were terrorizing Citadel space. Capable of surviving the harsh environments the Rachni preferred, Krogan units drove the Rachni to extinction, and were hailed as heroes. They were granted gentler worlds to colonize, but their rapid breeding meant the Krogan soon overran them and threatened neighboring species. The resulting Krogan rebellion lasted almost a century until the Turians deployed the Genophage bioweapon. Unable to breed reinforcements, the Krogan people fell into decline. Alright, Krogan in general. The Krogan homeworld Tuchanka is one of the harshest in the Milky Way, honing the Krogan into a physically powerful, aggressive, and adaptable species. Once considered heroes after the Rachni Wars, Krogan expansion made them a threat to the galaxy until the Turians and Solarians used the controversial Genophage to quell their numbers. Several authorities questioned including the Krogan in the Andromeda Initiative given their history. Invitations were extended to several clans, particularly those who did not take part in the Krogan rebellions, and their assistance eventually proved invaluable in building the Nexus. Colonist interviews show that many Krogan see the initiative as a chance to reinvent their people. The Krogan are considered a dying species in the Milky Way, as the Genophage means only 1 in 1,000 Krogan pregnancies succeed. In recent years, Krogan have shown signs of adapting to the Genophage as they have to many other threats. Alright guys, I think we'll end this one here. My throat's getting a little tired. We'll finish off the Solarians and the Turians and anything else that pops up at the top. We still have quite a long way to go. So I'll try to keep pumping these out fairly often. But we'll see. Hopefully you guys are enjoying kind of the histories. But I like doing it this way when it's just on its own, because then people can skip it if they want. My initial thought was to sprinkle it through, but I don't know that people will like that, so I'll keep it this way. But alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I now have a choice in where you watch your Mass Effect Let's Plays, and I thank you for choosing One-Eyed Sniper. Peace out, everyone.